Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to the NS9 Postgame Show. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, we have Tyler Sweeney. Tyler, we have another Pirates win, 4 in a row. You know what this means?
Furries.
You know what it also means?
What's it mean?
Undefeated with the City Connect jerseys. For everyone that hated the City Connect jerseys, the Pirates are undefeated them. Also,
That they are.
Undefeated with Henry Davis batting third.
It's like somebody that does a show on North Shore 9 knows what he's talking about every now and then. It's weird.
Not sure who that is.
Couldn't tell you. Could be a furry. I don't know.
But Pirates have won 4 in a row.
Pirates have won 4 in a row.
Jim's kind of correct here, by the way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in Jim's defense, it's not what he's referring to. It's that we planned about 8 innings of how are we going to get through this show when they just got their teeth kicked in. And then what happened?
This was a terrible game.
Awful.
Until it wasn't.
Yeah. And
honestly, think about it. Like it was a bad game. There was the 1 inning, which we'll talk about here on the totality, but like the Pirates had that 1 inning, Kutch hit the home run, which furries, right? Of course he's gonna hit a home run today. If you're a betting person, you should be betting that all weekend long. Home run by Kutch. Then they scored 2 more by actually was it Sawinski? I don't even remember right now. No, it was Nick Gonzalez. Nick Gonzalez had the double. Sawinski got on. Yeah. Nick Gonzalez hit the double off the Clemente wall. So the 3 runs came in that inning. And that was basically it for the offense for the game. And just saw the pitching wasn't good. The Brewers are coming back. It just is what it is. The Pirates don't have the fuel, the manpower to come back and win it until they did. So it was a good game for that half inning. And then for these last 30 seconds of the game.
Yeah. Like full disclosure, DiNardo and I were talking to each other during this, basically the last half of this game.
Yep.
And also full disclosure, shout out to my cousin. He got engaged and I got the text message like maybe a minute before everything happened. So I was looking at my phone doing this, that, and the other. And all of a sudden I hear, yo! And I look up and just see the ball flying.
Yeah. And what was crazy to me too. So right, as you mentioned, we were both on PlayStation watching the game as we could talk together at the same time, right? That's why we're doing it. So we were talking the whole game. And again, the game just got kind of boring. So whatever. I wasn't tweeting much because basically we were just tweeting, talking back and forth. And we discussed it. Bay got the hit. I guess you love to work backwards. So the 9th inning came up, right? Bay got the hit and we were bashing Bay. A little behind the scenes stuff. We're talking about Castro and Bay. We're talking about decisions coming up. Troy had a triple in Triple A. Jesus. I didn't know that was gonna be as big of a tongue twist as I thought. Troy had a triple in Triple A, and we just got talking like who's gonna get demoted. It's probably going to be Bay. It's got to be Bay, right? Bay, Castro, then Bay gets a hit. And we're like, of course he gets a hit. You know what? He's going to tie this game up and make this miserable game even longer than it has to be. And granted, they won. He scores, then Santana hits the home run, and they won.
Not to mention, like, we're talking, and I'm sitting there thinking, you know what's going to happen? Bay's going to try to steal second here. He's going to get thrown out in the 2-run game, and I'm going to jump on this postgame show, and I'm going to MF him to death. So what's G1 Bay do? He tries to steal second. Henry Davis grounds out. Doesn't matter. And then Carlos Santana happens.
It happened. It happened in a big way. What was the actual, I should have the numbers up here. It was 109 off the bat. 431 feet, 30 out of 30 ballparks it leaves.
It was smooth.
It's very smooth. Carlos Santana's, he's playing well. He's playing super duper well. He's playing so well that when he heard that G-Man Choi is coming on rehab, he's like, I need to step it up. And he stepped it up.
With the Canadian wildfires, you could argue there's smoke on the water.
Jesus Christ. All right, what are we doing here? Smoke on the Water is not even a Santana song.
Close enough.
That's Nazareth, isn't it?
I think Santana has something to do with it.
Whatever.
Someone tell me. Let's go.
Look it up, people. So
I'm busy.
let's just go down the line here too. I mean, it was not a good offensive game all around, but like at the end of the day, you look at the numbers and like the Pirates had 11 hits today, and I'm not sure where they came from. But Santana, first off, yeah, we know Kutch did. Furries, Kutch went 3 for 5 today. His batting average up to 287, OPS 854. Also, Santana with 3 hits. As we mentioned, he's been just balling out lately. Big home run, of course. Sawinski went 2 for 3 today. Those are your guys with the multiple hits. So again, like there was some offense here. It just at the end of the day, I don't know where 11 hits came from, but they were there.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm trying to figure out if Santana has something to do with smoke on the water.
He doesn't.
He does. Nailed it.
What?
Someone let us know in the chat.
And fire in the sky. It's not Santana.
I'm pretty sure
Isn't
Santana has something to do with it.
Come on, there's people in our chat that have to know that song.
Like someone's
Nazareth.
I'm pretty sure Carlos Santana has something to do with smoke on the water.
No.
I'm pretty confident in that.
No.
I think you're a liar.
But anywho, we want to talk about the Who? We'll go down that path too.
Nailed it.
Let's talk about all the 70s rock bands.
Nice.
Let's bring up the guest. Oh, yes, there it is. Mark got it. Deep Purple, not Nazareth. My bad.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that Carlos Santana has something to do with something.
You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. This is not a Carlos Santana, the guitarist episode. We're going to go off that bat. Let's get down into the post game here. So let's talk about this game now in its entirety. Let's just start with a starting pitcher. Okay. Make it quick, much like his outing, right? So Beto came in today. He didn't pitch well at all. 4 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 walk, no strikeouts, but 2 hit batters. He has pitched very effectively his time here. Got to give him the kudos and the props for doing that. I wasn't expecting today doing what he did. Today, what he did, it's kind of what I expected. I'll put it that way. So he lasted only 3.1 innings, through 70, 75, 70, 73 pitches in the 3.1 innings. So like that's kind of what we're getting at, like alluding to. Like he's not efficient at all. Doesn't last too long. 3.1 innings he lasted, 4 earned runs, no strikeouts. Tyler, Osvaldo Beto.
I mean, you got to toss to me here, don't you? I think I've been very clear on my position on Osvaldo Beto to this point. I think that his ceiling is a middle reliever. Honestly, the stuff you look at I understand why people will look at it and think there's something there. I don't see the command. I think the flat fastball has 0 command. I think the slider is good enough. But at the same time, I don't see anything more than a middle reliever out of him. I think he's hanging on as a maybe a back end starter right now, but on any capable team, there's no reason that this guy should be in a rotation. I appreciate what he's given them, and I think it's more than what I expected out of him. But I just don't see a guy that's going to be able to get major league hitters out at a consistent enough level to be a starting pitcher. And I think that people look at that and think I just hate Osvaldo Beto. It's just, I don't see a starting pitcher out of him. And I think that him being in this rotation and people buying into this little thought process that he can be maybe a number 5, which a lot of people do buy into that with guys like him that flash a little bit of plus stuff every now and then.
Sure.
People buy into that. And we see it all the time. But you're not going to win enough baseball games to be a playoff team with an Osvaldo Beto in your rotation. I think he can be an effective middle reliever, maybe. I think it's also possible he's out of baseball in a couple years.
Sure. But that's the life of a middle reliever.
Yeah, that's all I think he is. I just don't see enough. I don't see the command. I think whenever he's forced to throw the fastball enough, he gets hit very hard. And I think there's a lot of guys in the Pirates organization that do that. I think Beto is a guy that there's a reason he's 27 years old getting his major league debut.
Right.
There's a reason he's in the position he is. I appreciate what he's given him. I don't want to see him get an extended look. He's not that kind of guy.
Yeah, I'm with you. Now, like, go back to the slider. Slider does look kind of sexy, but that's pretty much about it, you know? And like, there's the thing too. I don't want to sound like a hater also, right? And that's why I say, like, I wasn't expecting, like, when the move happened, is it really the right move? Like, so we discussed and talked about, like, is this really the right move? If a team who wants to win, is Beto the guy that you want to call up to do so, right? And some of the reasons we said that was there's a lot of limitations on his game. And to date, before today, he's actually produced fairly well. Beat my expectations. He's done what he needed to do to give this team a chance to win. And that's good. That's great, you know. So kudos to him in doing that. Now today you kind of saw like what Osvaldo Beto is. And like what you're saying about him being a middle reliever, like I don't think that's a knock either. You're not knocking him. You're just simply not. He is not a prospect. He's a 27-year-old who is still in AAA. If he can be a middle reliever, that's still a win. Like that's why I want to get like the point across too. If he can be a middle reliever, that's a win because look at his bullpen right now. They need all the middle relievers they can get. So like if he can be that guy and give you some quality outings for like 2 or 3 years as a middle reliever, that's a win still. And I think he is capable of doing that to some degree. So like this isn't a total knock on him. It's just you're expecting some 27-year-old who's still in AAA, who's not a prospect anywhere to be part of your rotation. I think that means more of your rotation is probably a bad situation than it is Osvaldo Beto deserves to be there, if that makes sense. So him being a middle reliever is fine. It's good. And I think like that's probably what it ends up being as well. Also to kind of put here too, we had a lot of talk about, and maybe just for you to compare and discuss this too, but a lot of talk about Oviedo, probably going to be a reliever too also, right? But I think the difference for me also is like when you see his stuff, like the stuff plays, he just has no command of it, and that's why he's going to end up being probably in the bullpen. Things have changed this year in my mindset of that. But like when we were talking about him last year, those are the reasons. When I look at Osvaldo Beto, I don't see the stuff like Oviedo. I don't think there really is a shot for him to be in a rotation.
Yeah, and I think if you look at it on like a blank canvas, let's just say you stare at Fangraphs and you see the slider, you see a fastball, velocities look the same. I'm sure the whiff rates, everything look pretty close. If you watch him pitch, you can tell Osvaldo Beto is a guy who couldn't get outs in AAA for a reason. It's just not all the way there for him. There's something missing. The fastball is kind of flat. He can get the swings and misses, but there's a reason he's a guy that probably belongs in the pen and not in the back end role.
Yep.
Can he be a like spot starter type of guy? Sure. And that's probably what he should have been this year, but unfortunately he's forced into a more major role. Debatable on whether he should be in that major role, but that's what we're stuck with. I'm just giving my thoughts on what he is going forward. I don't want people to go out there and think Osvaldo Beto might be a guy you can count on going forward in the rotation. If you think that, we might want to get your eyes checked.
Fair.
That was
and
the
I
nicest
agree.
way I could put it.
So let's move past that then. Beto, whatever, 3.1, 4 earned runs, hands the ball over to Barucki. He's been awful. He doesn't also, like, we're talking about another guy, like, he doesn't deserve to be a middle reliever as well.
Osvaldo Beto deserves a reliever spot way, way, way more than Barucki.
Correct.
Barucki is not a Major League Baseball player. He is not a AAA baseball player. He is not a AA baseball player. That guy only has a Major League spot because he throws with the same arm that I do. which means
Maybe
I
double
should
A.
also have
Maybe
one.
double A.
No, he is god awful. He is
But
atrocious. He should never play Major League Baseball ever again. This team went on a walk-off, and I'm going on a rant about Ryan Baraki. What the hell is going on?
stop. All right. Okay. Go. I'm going to stop you then. My job as the host right now is to stop you because, right, we're not going to go down this path. He is
Right.
not good. However, he did his job today. Scoreless inning, 1 hit, nothing else. All zeros the
Sure.
rest of the way as well. Obviously, also strikeouts because he can't do that either. But anyways,
Sure.
he did his
Baraki got through
job.
it. Let's move on.
Yeri De Los Santos came in, and you and I are talking about Yeri for a bit today on our PlayStation 5 chat. He did his job today as well.
Lame.
This was a guy who has not put up a good effective season in AAA. That's what we were kind of discussing. Like, should he have been here earlier? We don't know, but whatever. Like, he wasn't giving a reason for them to do so. He is here now. So far, so good. 1.29 ERA in the majors. Today, full inning, no hits, a walk, no strikeouts, but he did his job as well. I'm just going to put up it real quick. Don't go down this rabbit hole, Tyler.
We're good.
You look all right? Anything of note that you want to talk about, Yeri De Los Santos, or can we move on?
No, not in particular. I mean, he got outs-ish. I like Yeri enough.
Outs-ish is better than a lot of other guys.
Yeah, I mean, right now he's a hard guy to judge. You don't really see the results out of him, but you see the stuff. It's like the opposite.
Kind of like
Beto.
last year.
Right. It's like the opposite Beto. You saw the outs, you didn't see. I'm like, I don't love stuff. But I'm still like intrigued. That's it.
Okay. Fair.
And if he stinks, who cares? He's a reliever.
Then let's move on. So next up was Perdomo, as Mark put in here as well. Perdomo was good. And I know Jim and I talked a little bit about him today. 0.2 innings. He had 2 runs unearned. Did have the strikeout, no hits, no walks. I know you and I talked about it a little bit as well. I'm still on that intrigued train. I get he's 29 years old. Like, I get he's been pretty bad, but it's just, I don't know. Like, it's just this feeling. That's all I can say. Because again, like, you don't have a whole lot of stats and numbers like to really back you up to say this, but like, it's just kind of like that feeling. Like, he's watching him pitch. I'm somewhat intrigued. It's that, like, if I squint, that Neil Huntington factor comes in and says, this was a Neil guy, and Neil was able to make these guys productive. So can Ben do it? That's how I am with him.
Yeah, so Perdomo's, I know you love the word intriguing. So I will.
You know what? That's fair. I do.
I'll use the word intriguing for him.
Because you know what? Can I just say something real quick?
Sure.
You know why I say intriguing? Because there's not too many good players that Ben Cherington has brought in. They're all just intriguing players. Like, anyone who has a potential positive impact on this team is because of hope.
Yeah.
So that's
a whole lot of hope.
But they intrigue me.
You know, I look at a Perdomo and you watch him pitch, and if you just stare at the velocity, it doesn't jump off a page. But man, when this guy is in the zone and he's able to command his fastball, he is damn near unhittable. When he is throwing the baseball in the zone, nobody touches him. And he's throwing 94 miles an hour from the left side. It's because he's 6'9" or whatever he is. But he is so hard to hit, and the slider that comes off it, I've said it before on the show, but Perdomo, to me, he's a guy that he will look absolutely unhittable. And then every now and then he's going to go out there and he's going to look like the absolute worst major league pitcher you've ever seen in your life, because he's as large as he is, and being able to throw a pitch as tall as he is, you're going to struggle to repeat your mechanics. So that's why you see the walk rates you do. That's why you see everything you do. But when he's able to be in the zone like he has really been the entire time as a Pirate at this point, he's damn near unhittable. And really, as a Pirate, he's been damn near unhittable.
Yeah. And so this doesn't count today. And of course, it's been limited innings, right? It's all small sample. But I think hitters are batting like 135 off him. He walks a lot of guys. And again, that's why I talk about the Neil Huntington effect. Like, Neil Huntington loved guys who could pump 98, 99, 100 and walked everybody.
But
he was able to like find these guys.
But it plays at like 101.
Sure. But like what I'm saying, like with Neil, like he was able to find these guys and under like the tutelage of like Ray Sears and them, like they're able to like to work with them and make them fine. And again, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen here, but like when I look at Perdomo and watch him pitch and all the stuff that you talk about, it's like I feel like this is the one guy I can say, okay, Beto, he's 27 years old, AAA, like he stinks. He is what he is. But like Perdomo, you can say, oh, he's 29 years old and he's been terrible everywhere else, so he is what he is. But like when I look and watch him pitch, I was like, maybe there's something you can work with here. Like there absolutely is something you can work with. It's just, can they work with it and make it happen? So that's where I'm at with him. Again, that's why it's intriguing. It's only been like 12 innings, 11.2 innings, I think, on the year, something like that.
Look, man, the way you get a guy that can miss bats like he can, it's hard to find guys like that.
Sure.
So you're going to pour everything you can into trying to figure out the command.
You want to, yeah, that's talent. You're going to try to figure out the talent.
Exactly.
Now, he has a good job trying to find the strike zone a lot of times, but like when he does, and the thing too, even when he doesn't, his stuff is so good that guys can swing at it and miss. So
DiNardo, you say it all the time. Like, this guy's talented. I'm gonna bet on it. I'll give him a shot. Like, we don't need a Ryan Barucki out there.
Thank you. I was just gonna say that.
I'll take a Perdomo out there and I'll try my hardest to figure out the talent.
Correct. Absolutely. So let's move on. Big Ben came in. I know, Tyler, you're very decisive on him. Another not so good outing. He does go 1 inning, 2 hits, earned run, had a strikeout. That's when you started thinking like things are getting away, right? That's when it was like the Pirates are close, that they could win this because that big outing we talked about, right? That big inning. And now it was like, well, they're done. This game's over. You and I were talking about how can this game end quickly? Let's do this post game. Can we get this over with? Why do we have to do this? Also, should I get another beer? This was that moment. Big bank, Money Moreta just didn't have it tonight at all. And it's kind of been that way now.
Yeah. I feel like you just look up Wagner Cuts' Twitter feed and figure out my thoughts on him. But in short, he was fun when he was getting outs imposing on the pitcher's mound. He's a hell of a lot less fun right now. I don't want to watch him pose ever again. I'd prefer he were on another team.
I'll say this. I want to watch him pose a lot because when he's good, he poses. And when he's bad, I'll say this too, and this is what it is, but like when he's bad, he looks like he's like going to cry. He's miserable. And like, I mean, granted, like, good. I'd rather you be miserable than just like still doing this. You had a bad outing. But yeah, let's hope there's more celebrations because that means good things opposed to bad. But like, I'm with you also. I've always been torn on him. I didn't want to buy in when like that May because I saw the April and it's just puzzling to me. And like we're seeing regression to the mean now in June. So I'm still just kind of curious on what he is. You know what I am though, Tyler? I'm intrigued.
I'm not intrigued whatsoever by Dauri Moreta. I want nothing to do with him. I don't want to watch him pitch anymore. I don't want to watch him pose anymore. I don't want to watch him cry in the dugout anymore. I'm tired of him. I'm not there yet. I'm tired of him. I don't want to watch an emotional roller coaster every single time this guy pitches. For God's sake.
You've watched the Pirates for how many years, and you're talking about not wanting to watch an emotional roller coaster?
I don't want to watch an individual on an emotional roller coaster. Dauri Moreta is a emotional roller coaster. I don't want to watch you cry your eyes out when you give up a couple runs because you're not very good, and then you want to walk out there and strut your stuff because you gave up a pop out because the guy missed the home run by 1/4 of an inch because your stuff's not very good and you're not very good. I'm tired of the guy.
I'm giving him through July. He had his April, which is very confusing, but you just felt he was bad. Then he had the May.
The Pirates hit a walk-off, and I'm complaining about Dauri Moreta. What are we doing?
I get it. I'm just saying I'm giving him through July. I think by then I can make my decision.
Sure. My decision.
So then I guess let's just cap it off with Majinski.
Yeah, I like him.
I know you do. 2 innings. He did his job. He did a good job today. 2 innings, 1 hit, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts, no earned runs. What do you have to say about him?
I like him.
Okay.
I like him. I think the stuff plays. Not much more to say. I think they made the right decision by putting him in the bullpen early. Unlike some of the other minor league arms, I think we've seen the Pirates put some minor league they've tried to keep them in the rotation as long as humanly possible. I think putting Majinski in the bullpen early was a good call for him. Let him refine the stuff that he has and kind of develop him into a major league reliever as quickly as possible. I like what they've done with him. I like what he can bring. I'm comfortable with him and like going forward. I would like him at a late inning role, I think, at some point. Maybe even as close as next year.
Fair. Is that because David Benrar gets traded at the deadline now?
It's possible. Or Colin Holderman just goes off a cliff.
They had a walk-off home run. Let's not go down that path either. All right. So that's pretty much the pitching. Again, Beto not good, Moreno not good. Everyone else did fair enough. So let's go back to the hits.
Except for Moreta.
I said Moreta. I said Beto and Moreta.
Okay.
So let's go back to the hits. So again, there's 11 of them. There was 3 walks, 12 strikeouts. Like, again, this was like this sneaky, like at the end of the day, when you look at the box score, I'm just confused on how 11 hits happened. But Kutch, we know the Furs are in town. He went off and he did. So Henry Davis went over 4. Don't have to go too much on that. Henry Davis went over 4.
It happens.
That's the downside to this game. But was there anyone that stood out that we didn't talk about in the offensive side today? Or anyone that you really want to talk about?
Like, I feel like it's every single episode. It's just Andrew McCutchen just continues to impress you. The way that the bat speed still plays at his advanced stage, the way that he has improved his eye so much. And I know there's a thought that like coming back to Pittsburgh for him in the offseason would like bring him back to normal. Because we did see Andrew McCutchen become more of a league average type of player as he traveled essentially the globe, is what it felt like.
Yeah, but like when you say back to normal, were we even expecting normal?
No, not at all. But
okay,
you watch him be able to turn on an inside fastball. You watch him be able to lay off of pitches that not many normal human beings can lay off of. There's a comfort level. There's something completely different about Andrew McCutchen, even that we didn't even see back in, let's say 2016 Andrew McCutchen, when he was probably pressing as a former MVP trying to get this team to turn around. You see a maturity in Andrew McCutchen. You see so much that I just love the guy. Like, this guy is a pro's pro at the plate. Everything he does is terrific. He is a professional hitter at every single turn. I feel like I say it every time I jump on here, but everything he does is so damn impressive at the plate. And he looks like he's about 28 again.
He is 36 years old. Everything you talked about. You were hopeful. Last year, he had a 98 weighted runs created plus. He was below league average as a hitter for the Brewers. And he came home. And I know a lot of people thought, you know what? It's the Pujols thing. Like, he's coming back to Pittsburgh. I don't want to say a money grab per se, but it's just like, it's a token thing. Like, Andrew McCutchen's here. It's going to be his last year because he's not good. He's going to ride off, retire as a Pirate. Cool. He says he's got years ahead of him. He wants to be here years. And we talked. Like, we liked the signing. We discussed it over and over because there's a real reason to think he can improve, right? We talked about the banning the shift and how him and Santana were one of the 2 worst, let's say worst hitters, but
they were hurt the most. They
hurt them the worst.
They were hurt by the shift a lot.
So you can see him being productive, league average or better. But again, right now, 135 weighted runs created plus by Andrew McCutchen. He's 35% better than league average. The best since 2015. And that's why I want to go back. Like, I compared him to 2011, 24-year-old Andrew McCutchen. in 2011
122?
as a 5.4 WAR player. He had a 130 weighted runs created
130?
plus.
Yeah, he did.
130 in 2011. He batted 259, 364, 456. And right now, Andrew McCutchen is batting 287, 399. Andrew McCutchen also has a 15.9% walk rate.
Was he 122 before that?
He's done that once in his life.
Was he a 122 weighted runs created plus before that?
His rookie year, 122, 124, 130.
Yeah.
And then that's when we went to like MVP type years, 158. That's when he just went on a whole nother level. 158, 156, 169, 144. And then, like you mentioned, 2016, the 105. He's at 135 right now. We're entering June.
Right. And we're not even talking about just the eye. Like, a lot gets made about the way he's able to draw a walk and the way he's not pressing at the plate. We see it tonight. He is still able to turn on the inside fastball.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the talent is still there.
Anything a part of his game that deals with speed and quickness has not diminished.
Not at all.
It is still there today, like it was when he was 24 years old.
Yeah.
That's why, and not to go down this rabbit hole, right? But that's why when we discussed a little bit about Andrew McCutchen Hall of Fame, he's not there yet. But what I'm seeing today, there's nothing that makes me feel he can't have 3 more seasons of some type of production to maybe get in conversation of it. That's all we're asking, like get in conversation. I'm not saying he's going to be in Hall of Fame talks, but like what you're seeing today is 36 years old. When he turns 39, I'm sure it's going to drop off, but like, where's that drop off? He's a good player. He is a good offensive player.
Yeah, I think at the very least, he's a guy that you want to bring back next year.
If he's not a Pittsburgh Pirate, we riot.
But
absolutely.
Like, honestly, DiNardo, the way he's playing right now, he's going to get really good offers.
Correct. And we know where he wants to be.
Right. So,
correct.
To put it shortly, he deserves whatever he wants to demand to stay here. Because you're not going to be able to afford a guy that can play at the level he has this year, no matter what you think about his age. He just gave $8 million to a 43-year-old, but that's beside the point. Either way, you're not going to find a guy with the bat like he still has shown for the price he will probably ask for.
And we know he's offering discounts.
Sure is.
Honestly, we see what that home cookie's doing for him. So it's good for him. It's a win-win. If he's not a Pirate next year, we riot. That's it.
So we're gonna have a lot of fun this offseason.
Now
DiNardo,
fun this offseason. Yes,
you did mention the shift and what it's done for Andrew McCutchen. Carlos Santana, where we at now?
Back.
Where we at?
I was nervous, but like I feel, you know what? I guess the difference is we're talking about two guys that are old, and Andrew McCutchen has shown that he doesn't look old. Now, Carlos Santana, he's not out there, like quickness is not part of his game, right?
No.
He's old. Now, granted, he's good for his age, and like he's playing a great first base. But like the difference is when Kutch is getting these days off and he's only DHing, like we question it, right? And he shows like his body's there, right? Carlos Santana should probably get some days off. So like when he's not performing, I don't put as much blame onto him. I don't say like Carlos Santana is terrible and he deserves to be off his team and he sucks and it's his fault. He's being told to do something he shouldn't do. He's playing too much. But granted, put that in the back burner right now. He is balling out right now. What's he at? I got to pull up his numbers now. See where he's at right now. But
yeah, I'm not sure. He was at 89 weighted runs created plus, like maybe less than a week ago. So he's probably
as of right now, 100. He's a 103.
103.
Like he's back to being above league average today. 103. He's batting 247, 326, slugging 421, a 103 weighted runs created plus. So yeah, he was bad, and now he's above average. Which again, like as a first baseman, you want more than 103, but I'll take that right now. And with Troy coming back, I think that helps Santana be a better player, giving him those days off, so he's not playing every single day wearing down.
Yeah, and we get I feel like we talk about everybody other than Carlos Santana in this lineup because he's just been so bleh that there's been so much worse than him. But at the end of the day, a Carlos Santana in this lineup is the guy that we were talking about back in April, where we were mentioning how this lineup is so much deeper because of guys like him. So watching him be able to do what he's been doing for probably the last 3 weeks, that's why that's other than Henry Davis hitting third. That's why you're seeing this lineup be able to put together, like 5, 6 runs every now and then, even 3 for hell's sake. Like they're actually able to score runs now. And a lot of that does have to do with your 4-hitter, your cleanup hitter, being able to actually not be terrible.
Right. Now, granted, he probably shouldn't have been the 4-hitter for some time there.
No.
But this lineup dictates that. It's not too many other options. But at this point in time, sure. And for the most of the season, yeah, absolutely. So Jim says, LOL, you all are still going. Some more behind the scenes that we're talking about PlayStation. This is going to wrap up at 20 minutes, right, Tyler? We're not going over 20 minutes in this game,
are
right?
we done now?
Yeah, that was our discussion before, too. And then a walk-off home run happened.
Yeah.
So things have changed.
Yeah, we had to get through everything we previously discussed and then talk about what happened in the last 5 minutes.
Right, basically.
And
but yeah, so I guess the overall, I guess some gripe. Palacios leading off. Have you got 0 for 4 today? I appreciate Josh Palacios and his grit, his desire to play, his will to play, him understanding that he's not talented, but making sure he does all the other things to stay on a team. But I think we all can agree too, he's also not a good player. Are we finally succumbing to that?
DiNardo?
Yes.
Imagine explaining baseball to somebody and saying that a fellow named Josh Palacios, who is really
What's
never
wrong with his name?
Just some guy
his name's David Todd.
No. But just imagine a guy named Josh Palacios who has really never had any major league experience, and he is not very good. He has never been very good. And a team saying, you know what? We're going to give this guy the most at-bats in our lineup. That's what the Pirates have been doing for the last 3 weeks. We're going to give a guy named Josh Palacios, who has shown in his career he's not very good.
Right.
And I appreciate what he's done, like you said. He's actually shown to be a maybe capable fill-in every now and then. I don't even want to give him the 4th outfielder role. He's shown that he can be a fill-in. The Pirates have said for 3 weeks, we're going to give this guy the most at-bats in our lineup.
Yep.
That's a fireable offense for Derek Shelton and Ben Cherington. I know they walked it off today. That is the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. This team sometimes is so aggravating with how stupid they are.
I know. And part of it is also, I don't want to beat on Josh Palacios, right? And even Derek Shelton to a degree
he
here.
He tries. I mean,
this lineup has been atrocious. So outside of Kutch and now Henry Davis, the past 11, his 11th game today, right? Outside of them two, anyone you put in the leadoff spot, you could have this argument for, honestly. So there's that part of it I will give, but I think what we can definitely decide is he's not a good baseball player. It just is what it is. But I like him as a player, if that makes sense. I like the personality.
That made no sense.
I like a Josh Palacios. I like the makeup.
He's a good minor league.
He's just not talented to be on a good team.
If you roll him out there and you toss him in the 9th spot every now and then when someone gets hurt, sure. For God's sake, on no planet does any like major league team put him at leadoff ever.
Right.
He's bad. He's not a
I
major
get it.
leaguer. He's not an
But
everyday
again,
guy.
like your
This
options
team,
are Sawinski,
I don't
Nick
give a
Gonzalez,
flying
Marcano,
F.
Triolo, Hedges, even Castro, right? Bay. It's been awful. So like I get that part. But granted, I just want to throw that in there. A little Josh Palacios talk.
There's a fly in front of me.
You good?
Yeah, there was a fly.
All right, Mr. Miyagi.
I got it.
So I don't know. Again, like we know Hedges stinks. Triolo did go for 4 today, but it's still early. He's been fine so far.
Sure.
Okay.
It's 41 minutes into DiNardo.
I was just gonna say it's 41 minutes. You want to get out of here?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. All right. Pirates play again tomorrow. It's what, a 1:30 game? 2:30? Something
No,
like
it's
that.
later. I think it's 4.
No, I don't think so.
I think it might be.
Whatever time it is, we'll be on after.
It's a long time from now.
We'll see you then. Thank you for still sticking around and watching this dumpster fire. So
yeah, we made it.
Sure.
4 or 5 tomorrow.
It is 4:05?
Yep.
Man, I was way off. Okay.
Yeah,
so I shouldn't have any problem seeing the game. All right. Well, then we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Peace out, Scouts.
Hey, you all. Thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.